ready for a victory celebration that for them has been a very long time.
Let me ask you. You know, we've been reporting for weeks that this is going to be a tie, and we've what Democrats now see. Was there any expression of pessimism? Was there concern that there, but for the grace of God go I? Republicans could have gone in the same direction as the Dems.
When I talked to people within the Trump campaign the last couple days, there were a lot of nerves because what they were trying to do was very much unproven. They had a theory that they could expand the electorate, they could turn out all these new voters, they could convince young men to show up and vote, and it was totally proven. And, the Trump campaign ethos in general, from the top down, is to be confident, borderline cocky, until you are proven wrong. And so that's mostly what they projected. But in these last couple days, they saw the same polls we did. They saw, I think, the vice president's closing message. They saw Donald Trump at a lot of his rallies kind of failing to deliver the knockout blow with his own closing message. And they did get a little nervous. But their theory of the case was always that this electorate existed and they needed to prove it to be true. And I can tell you I have gotten several text messages from Trump campaign staffers and major donors basically saying, see, we told you so. I mean, for them, it was always going to be either a close Kamala Harris victory in their view or a sweep potentially of the battleground states if their theory was right. They have felt minute by minute and hour by hour tonight that the evidence is pointing towards their theory being right. And we won't know till all the votes are counted, but certainly it's starting to look that way as we approach 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we are approaching 2 o'clock in the morning and waiting to hear from the former president, or some words when we might hear from him. Again, this race has not been called by this network. This network's still going through its processes, and when it's ready to speak, our decision desk will speak.
But as we look at where the numbers are and what the mood music is, if you will, I think one of the things that is on people's minds is who will be, if in fact former President Trump does well in Pennsylvania and we call that race for him, etc., who will be in his ear? Who will be in his inner circle? And as we're talking about some of this, it may be striking for some folks to remember back in 2016, Jared Kushner was such a presence on the trail, his son-in-law, Ivanka Trump, his daughter, Melania Trump has been a rare presence on the campaign trail, campaigning for her husband this time, and both Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner have largely taken a back seat. They've kept an arm's length away from domestic politics here and have not been on the trail much. They may be here tonight if in fact he comes out and gives some sort of big speech. They may line up as part of the family, but they have not been a presence in the way that they were.
Well, let's also not forget that 40-year-old J.D. Vance, who served in the United States Senate for 2 years, is on the precipice of becoming the vice president of the United States for a man who's 78 years old. So, I mean, this is a moment.
Yeah. The one thing I'd say about who would serve in the administration, I think this is actually a better opportunity for him coming back after the 4 years in between. Because normally when you have the second term, you just shuffle the chairs on the deck. You've got the number 2 person was really good, so we'll move them up to number 1, and maybe I'll move you over to another. He's cleaning house. Right. The house got cleaned, and now he's able to rebuild the entire thing.
I think he will put, for example, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Do you think he says, you know what, I'll give you the FDA or the health department? Yes, exactly.
Those are Senate confirmed, and so unless you went with an acting role,
which
he would be.
He himself has said he doesn't mind having acting heads in there.
I mean, I'll leave that to him. But what I'm also going to say though is that when it comes to whether it's in the national security space, in all the other spaces, he's learned from that. I was there the moment he walked into the Oval Office for the first time as president, about 6 o'clock p.m., 7 o'clock p.m. on January 20th, 2017. And most of the people we did not know because he wasn't the politician. Reince was doing all of this, who was the person of Washington, D.C. You're taking
about his
from
former
Congress.
chief of staff, Reince Priebus,
And so now he's got that knowledge.
Well, and it's striking because so many of the people who served in his administration have said he's unfit to serve. And so they won't be returning, obviously, and we spent a fair amount of time talking about that in weeks. All of the people who called him, for example, a fascist.